Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Monday, June 12th. We've got a 9-game slate today, 9-game main slate. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so looking at pitcher today, your top pitcher on the slate is Steven Strasburg. He is really expensive today at $12,700. That is a very hefty price to pay. But I'm going to be putting Strasburg in right now. That's my SP1 today. He gets a really good matchup pitching against the Braves. Strasburg has absolutely owned this team this year. He's faced them twice already, and in those 2 games, he got the win in both of those games, had 21 strikeouts in those 2 games. He's already seen this team very well, done very well against them this year. He's averaged 33 DraftKings points in the 2 games that he's faced against Atlanta. We know Atlanta, they're definitely a team that you can pick on. When you get Freddie Freeman out of that lineup, Atlanta's definitely a team you want to attack with pitchers. And you also getting them away from SunTrust Park, getting them away from Atlanta, going to Washington, pretty pitcher-friendly park. So I absolutely love this spot for Strasburg. He's just been really good this year, been really consistent, especially with the strikeouts as of late. In his last 4 games, he has had 8, 7, 15, and 11 strikeouts. In his last 4 games, he's also been really consistent with the DraftKings scoring, putting up 35, 47, 25, and 25 DraftKings points. I think Strasburg is the top option by far today. If you look at splits versus righties, we know Atlanta, they don't really strike out that much. They do rank towards the bottom of the league in K rate with a 19.3% K rate. But as I showed you guys, Strasburg's already faced his team twice this year, and he's had 21 strikeouts, so he's got their number. Atlanta don't hit righties that well, only hitting a 261 average and a 313 WOBA, and especially with Freddie Freeman out of this lineup, Atlanta's definitely a team we're going to pick on. So I love Steven Strasburg today as my SP1. I think he's the top option, top cash game option. If you're playing cash games today, go ahead and lock Strasburg in and then figure it out from there. I absolutely love Steven Strasburg today, and I'm going to be locking him in as my SP1. And then for SP2, I think this is where it gets tricky. There aren't really any cheap SP2s that I feel good about. Absolutely love Rick Porcello today against the Phillies. I think Porcello's a great SP2 option if you can fit him in. But I was trying to build lineups earlier with Porcello in there, and there just wasn't enough value. So I'm going to be looking to go for a cheaper SP2 that I definitely like today. I definitely think is in play. That's Jameson Taillon, 6,800, getting a matchup against the Rockies away from Coors Field. I've said this before, but I think the Rockies are a team that you can attack, especially when you get them away from Coors. They're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh today, traveling to PNC Park, one of the most pitcher-friendly parks. So I absolutely love Jameson Taillon today. The only thing I don't like is the Rockies have definitely been hot lately. They've been scoring a ton of runs. This weekend they played in Wrigley. They were still managing to put up a ton of runs even away from Coors. But it was very hot in Wrigley, very windy, which definitely helps out with the hitting conditions. But when you're getting to the Rockies in PNC, I think this is a spot where you can attack them. And I'm going to be looking to do that today with Jameson Taillon. Taillon is making his first start off of the DL. I'm not expecting him to have a pitch count. He did go on the DL but because of a groin injury. So I don't know if a groin injury would affect pitch count. I don't think it would. Anytime a pitcher hurts his throwing arm, that's usually when you'll have pitch count. But a groin injury, not sure if there would be a pitch count there. So if Taillon's full go today, I really like him, especially just 6,800. He is very cheap. And Taillon is a pretty good pitcher. He's a very good up-and-coming prospect. The Pirates were very high on him. He did have a little up-and-down year last year, but before he was on the DL, he was very solid this year. He was pitching very consistently. Strikeouts, he's not a heavy strikeout guy. If you look at his last 4 games before he went on the DL, he had 6, 4, and 4, and 6, 4, 4, and 6 strikeouts. And then before that, it was 4, 6, 4, 6. So, I mean, Taillon's not a very hefty strikeout guy. He's not going to get you 10-plus strikeouts. But if you look at the splits versus righties, the Rockies they have a decent K rate versus righties. They rank right in the middle in the majors versus right-handed pitchers, striking out 22.1% of the time versus righties. So this team, there are definitely some strikeouts to be had. So I like Jameson Taillon today at just 6,800 as my SP2. Like I said, I'm not expecting much of a pitch count limit. I think he's going to be full go today. I'm expecting Taillon to have a pretty solid game. I think he can get you at least 15 DraftKings points, which is good for that cheap price tag. So I like Jameson Taillon as my SP2 today at just 6,800. When you plug in Strasburg and Taillon, that leaves you an average of 3,800 remaining per player, which you can definitely work around. There are some good value plays that I feel good about today. So I'm going to be giving you 3 value plays for my 3 hitters. So starting off first base, there's a value play I like here under 4K. That's Will Myers at just 3,600, getting a matchup against Bronson Arroyo. I absolutely love Myers today. I love the Padres as sort of a sneaky stack. People probably don't want to play the Padres just because they're not a very attractive team. But any team against Bronson Arroyo is definitely a team that you want to stack. Bronson Arroyo, he's just so bad. So I like Will Myers today, getting a piece of that Padres offense. Myers is very cheap at just 3,600, and he is a very good hitter. I don't think he should be this cheap, especially going up against Bronson Arroyo. So I absolutely love Myers today at that cheap price tag. We know he has great power. Already had 12 home runs this year. I could easily see him hitting a home run off of Arroyo. Arroyo has just been absolute trash this year. He's not a good pitcher. So I really like Will Myers at just 3,600. And then for my outfield, there's two guys I like here. First off, one guy I absolutely love today is Mark Trumbo, just 3,700, getting a matchup against Mike Pelfrey. I really like Trumbo today, just because he is so cheap at 3,700. He's getting a great matchup going up against Pelfrey. Now, Pelfrey has been one guy that I've been attacking, and it seems like he always burns me. He always goes out and pitches well every time that I stack against him. But I think that's not going to happen today. I love the Orioles as a stack. I think they're going to be able to put up runs. They have so many power hitters in their lineup. I don't think Pelfrey's going to pitch a solid game here. So I love these Orioles bats. You can definitely stack them up in your cash games and GPPs. I really like the Orioles offense today. So I'm going to be looking to get a piece of that offense with Mark Trumbo. Like I said, he is very cheap on DraftKings at just 3,700. We know Trumbo has great power. He actually has great power against righties as well. You would think he'd have better power against lefties, but Trumbo has great power versus righties as well. And he's also had pretty solid BVP against Pelfrey in his career. Trumbo has seen him a decent amount of time. He's seen Pelfrey 12 times, and in those 12 times, Trumbo has had 5 hits. One of those hits was a home run. He's batting .417 versus Pelfrey in the 12 at-bats he's seen him. So Trumbo's already seen Pelfrey multiple times in his career, done very well against him. I think that's going to continue today. So I really like Mark Trumbo at just 3,700. I think he's going to hit a home run today. I'm going to go ahead and call a Trum bomb tonight. I think Trumbo's going to hit one out of the park. So I absolutely love him at outfield, just 3,700. And then my final play, another outfielder I really like for value, is Melky Cabrera at just 3,500, getting a matchup against Wade Miley. I really love Cabrera batting from his right side today. He does bat a little bit better from his right than he does from his left. So I think Melky Cabrera, another guy that you can target for cheap outfield value at just 3,500. Cabrera has been really consistent as of late. He has been getting the job done. In his last 3 games, he's put up 8, 8, and 11 DraftKings points. And I'm expecting another solid game today from Cabrera. He's going to be going up against Wade Miley. Wade Miley has definitely not been that good this year. He's really struggled with righties. With Melky Cabrera batting from his right side, I'm expecting a solid game from him today. He is very cheap at just 3,500, and the White Sox do have a pretty high implied run total. So I like the White Sox as sort of a cheap stack. A lot of the guys on that team are cheap, so you can definitely fit some of them in your lineup today. Especially if you're going to play Strasburg, you're going to need some cheaper bats. So definitely target some of these White Sox guys. And I'm going to be looking to get some exposure to that offense with Melky Cabrera today. Just 3,500. I'm expecting a solid game from him. I think he's easily going to be able to pay off that cheap price tag. And yeah, so these are my top 5 plays for tonight, guys. I went with Steven Strasburg, Jameson Taillon, Will Myers, Mark Trumbo, and Melky Cabrera. When you plug in these guys, that leaves you an average of 3,900 remaining per player, which you can definitely work around. Now I'm going to give you guys some other players that you can roster. Maybe you can use some of these picks to fill out some of the other spots or some of the empty spots. So some other pitchers that I like besides the pitchers that I gave in my 5 plays. Like I said, I really like Rick Porcello today. I think Porcello is going to have a very solid game. Maybe if value does open up, maybe I'll take out Taillon and plug in Porcello. I will update these 5 if value does open up, and if I make any changes, I will update it on Twitter. So be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. If I do make any changes to these 5, I will update them through Twitter. So be sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to get that. So yeah, like I said, I really like Rick Porcello today. I think he's going to pitch very well against the Phillies. Other pitchers I like, I definitely think Kyle Freeland is in play against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh really struggles against lefties, so I like Kyle Freeland today. And then Masahiro Tanaka, I think he's going to be interesting. LA doesn't really strike out that much, but with Mike Trout out of the lineup, they're definitely a team that we can pick on. I know Tanaka's been really bad lately, but I could see him bouncing back, having a solid game today against the Angels. So I like Tanaka. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the pitchers. I think pitchers are really weak today. Besides Taillon, there aren't really any cheap guys that I want. I think Strasburg is the one ace that you're going to pay up for. And then for SP2, you're just going to have to look at the mid-range, maybe look to some of those guys that I gave. But some catchers I like today, at the top of the catcher list, I absolutely love Gary Sanchez today. He's just been so hot lately. He is very expensive though at 5K. It's going to be really hard to fit him in if you want to play Strasburg, but if maybe you fade Strasburg, I really like paying up for Gary Sanchez today. At the mid-range at catcher, I like Matt Wieters, and if you need a value play at catcher, I like Sandy Leon. At first base, I don't think I'm going to be looking to pay up here. There are some good mid-range and value plays I like at first base. So at first base mid-range, I like Mitch Moreland, and then for value at first base, I like Jose Abreu and Hanley Ramirez. And then I gave in the video, or in the top 5, I like Will Myers as well for value at first base. At second base, at the top, I really like Daniel Murphy. At the mid-range at second base, I like Brian Dozier. And if you need a value play at second base, I like Rougned Odor. At third base, at the top of the third base, I like Miguel Sano. If you need a mid-range third baseman, I like Manny Machado. Manny Machado has been out of the lineup lately, but if he does return today, I really like him at just 4,200 going up against Pelfrey. Really like Manny Machado if he is in the lineup today. And if you need a third base value play, I like Adrian Beltre. Shortstop, towards the top, I like Xander Bogaerts. At the mid-range at shortstop, I really like Didi Gregorius. Gregorius has been really hot lately. Definitely think he is in play at the mid-range. And if you need a value play at shortstop, I really like Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson usually leads off versus a lefty, so definitely keep him in mind if you're looking for shortstop value. I really like Tim Anderson today. Hopefully he will be leading off versus Wade Miley. Definitely think you should consider him at shortstop. And then at outfield, I'm not going to tell you to play Aaron Judge or Bryce Harper, all these guys up top. Obviously, all of them are great plays if you can fit them in. But looking for more cheaper guys at outfield, I like Nomar Mazara. I like Jackie Bradley Jr., I like Adam Jones for value, and I like Seth Smith as well for value. A lot of these Orioles bats are really cheap today. Definitely think you might want to get some of these Orioles bats in your lineup, especially if you're going to play Strasburg. You're going to need cheaper bats, like I said, so definitely consider some of these Orioles bats. A lot of them have hit Pelfrey very well in their career, so I like the Orioles today. Very cheap on DraftKings. You might want to get some exposure to them. And yeah, so those are some other picks I like at each position. You guys can use my 5 plays, use some of the picks that I gave, maybe build your own lineup. Or if you want to get my lineups, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups are $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So message me on Twitter if you are interested in getting lineups. I do give out FanDuel lineups as well, along with DraftKings. So even if you play on FanDuel, you can still get my lineups. And all my lineup results are posted on Twitter, so be sure to follow me on Twitter as well if you want to see that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you never want to miss out on any videos, please be sure to scroll down to where the subscribe button is. There is a bell icon. You can click that bell icon, and that'll notify you every time I upload. So if you never want to miss out on any videos, you can do that as well. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
Who's this pretty blonde chick taking bong rips? Park Ave, catching a cab the next morning. We partied hard last night, I'm fucking exhausted. Headed back to my hood, I'm feeling nauseous. She said someone broke her heart, and now she's cautious. She thinks the fact that I'm a broke rapper is awesome. Tennis lessons, I wonder what those look